Hello, hello. This is Dallas Cohen, and today is a special occasion of the Rebound Coach, a special episode of the Rebound Coach Live because not actually live. Today we're doing a pre-recording, so I just want to share just something briefly with you that I hope encourages your heart. Today we are talking about how to get out of survival mode. Now, if this is the first time you and I are spending virtual space together and you don't know who Dallas Cohen is and what exactly is a rebound coach, I help people get unstuck. Life coaches help people get unstuck. And I have the honor and privilege of serving high achieving women of faith who've lived through betrayal, trauma, or abuse and want to reclaim territory in their relationship with themselves. And that journey, our time today, why we're here spending time today, came out of my own healing journey. I was married 10 years to a man who wanted me dead. And that didn't make a whole lot of sense for somebody like me who was raised in a good Christian home with good Christian parents. They loved God, they loved each other. My parents were married for a lifetime until my mom passed away when I was about 21. And they were a great example. So it didn't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, I was molested from the time I was 8 to about the time I was 16. And so that radically affects how you see yourself in a household of faith, how you see God. And as a young lady, how I saw men. Fast forward when I met the man I married and later divorced, there were definitely red flags. There were definitely reasons why we should not be together and shouldn't be married. But I believed, as a praying woman, I believed that God was with us. And because of that, I believed that whatever would come, we'd be able to overcome it. We would live through it. We would, come through on the other side better. And everything would be okay. And trouble, we'd be able to overcome whatever trouble came. Well, trouble came right away and never quite left. We got into a cycle of what I call coping in crisis, where we're kind of barely making it, just coping along. And then there's some gigantic crisis that just upsets everything. And you spend all your time and energy taking your house from upside down to right side up after the crisis, and you get back to this coping cycle. And on it went for years. Things came to a head end of 2019, beginning of 2020. He eventually left for another woman. And I found out him and that woman had been plotting my murder for months by the time I was made aware. And needless to say, that's kind of a record scratch moment. Everything stops. You're reevaluating your entire life. And that's definitely where I was, reevaluating everything. Everything is threatened. Who you are as a wife, a mom, a woman, a human being, a child of God. Also, as a coach, I had been coaching in relationship and marriage, of all things, for about 5 years by the time I found out this was happening. And so, if you can imagine building an entire platform and identity around one idea and have that very thing be, in shambles at your feet and everybody's going to know, right? It was a scary time. And so through a series of miraculous events, myself and my children are alive and we're thriving. And you and I get to share this time together. Out of all of that, I had a choice. I could allow the identity that my former husband had for me, and the identity, honestly, that I had agreed to, because I was enabling and allowing things to happen as they were. So I could allow that to tell me how long I got to have on this planet, what my life was allowed to be and what it wasn't allowed to be. Or I could choose life. So I've written a book out of that season of my life. It's over. Over here. You're at there it is. It's a little backwards on the way we're doing this today. but it's called I Choose Life over there. There you go. Rewrite your love story and change your legacy. And it's a book that has already made a vast difference in the lives of the people who read it, male or female, regardless of your history. If any of this resonated with you or you thought of someone when I was sharing my story, this book is for you to give to them or for you to read. It will bless you. And y'all, I have a cough drop in because it's November. Changing temperatures and kids. And yeah, so thanks for your patience with that. But you can get your copy of the book I Choose Life at thereboundcoach.com/book. That is over here, thereboundcoach.com/book, and you can get the book. So today we're talking about how to get out of survival mode. And I'll tell you why. We spend a whole lot of time and energy, and I have the privilege of serving women who have been through trauma, emotionally destructive marriages or relationships. And we spend a heck of a lot of time and energy dealing in crisis. So just like I was saying about that cycle of coping in crisis, when you're barely making it, you're spending all your energy to barely make it. And then when there's a crisis, you spend all your energy to put up what's upside down from your crisis, and to survive again and to get back to where you can, hope to breathe just a little bit, and the cycle continues. For so many people, whatever the crisis was, it's done now. So, in my case, he did what he was going to do. God did what he was planning to do all along, and we're okay, right? So a lot of folks get to an okay place, but in their heart and mind, they're still in that coping in crisis mania. They're still in that, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. Oh my gosh, I have to do all this. Oh my gosh, I need to, they have this mindset of survival. And the people helpers in the field help perpetuate that kind of thing, because they're talking about survival. So for example, well before everything fell apart for me, I was part of this email mailing list for people that are believing for their marriages to get back together after someone left. So this particular leader, sends inspirational messages to the people in their email list, and they call those people standers. And those are people standing for their marriage, or I should say standing for their marriage. Let's put that in air quotes. After someone has left. And so that wasn't my situation when I joined the email listserv, but it became my situation when my former husband left. And so I remember reading those emails in those days and weeks where all that was going on. And I felt like, oh, I'm a stander now, right? So they gave us an identity, a name to call ourselves. And for a moment, I took it on. So what does that mean? That means it tells me what I want, right? That identity told me what I wanted and what I was not allowed to want, right? In that situation, it was like standers are standing for their marriage to be restored. They can't stand for their own health if it costs the marriage, right? They can't stand for their own safety if it costs the marriage. You had to be standing for the marriage and not for anything else. And like I said, I only took that on for a couple of days. And even as I was praying about things like that, I couldn't, I just didn't have peace with it as it was. And so we spend so much time and energy on that. They'll say you're a survivor, you're a domestic violence survivor. And often that can mean staying in your story, whatever your story is. You just heard mine, right? I tell my story a lot, but I don't live there. There's a difference. What you meditate on really matters. So identity can be given to us by people helpers, by other people we've enabled, people we love, people who care about us, who is trying to give us advice and trying to tell us what to be and how to be, what they think the Bible says we ought to be in situations like that. And I'm here to tell you that you have a choice. You have a choice. You don't have to take on the identity somebody hands you or that you've always had, right? You have a choice. So we can choose. We don't have to even be survivors. We can be just thriving people. Your history doesn't have to tell you who you are. So 3 keys, and then I have the most fun video ever to share with you. So 3 keys to overcoming survival mode. Number 1, what happened is not who you are. Okay? What happened is not who you are, whether that is childhood abuse of some sort, whether that is unfortunate circumstances, whether that is loss of a family member or loved one, whether that is domestic violence or emotional abuse or spiritual abuse, whatever happened, that's not who you are. And your identity isn't tied to it. It doesn't have to be. We get to choose who we are. We get to choose what we believe. We get to choose how we show up. We get to choose the behavior we're willing to accept or not accept. Okay, we have so much more agency than we allow ourselves to have. And so, number 1, what happened to you is not who you are unless you let it be. Unless you say, oh, I'm a survivor. This is my life now. I'm a trauma survivor, or, whatever. People have physical illnesses and take on that identity. I'm a one blank, whatever that is. You don't have to take on any of that as an identity. It doesn't mean that you don't have to deal with things. Doesn't mean you don't have trauma responses to stuff that you need to address. It doesn't mean anything other than that's not who you are. It might be what happened. It might be what you need to heal through, walk through, whatever. It's not who you are. Okay. Doesn't have to be your identity. Number 2, overcoming survival. Allow yourself to dream and dream about life again. Dream about the life you wanted again. One of the big processes that women coming out of destructive marriages go through is mourning the dream. They had a vision of the kind of marriage they wanted, the kind of life they were hoping for, even in the midst of, abuse, even in the midst of betrayal, even in the midst of just being treated awful. You still had, I had, and others had a vision for the life they wanted with their man, right? And that what they were hoping for. If I just, for me, I was believing for his deliverance. And if I just wait and pray and fast and do the things I'm supposed to do, God's going to come through and deliver him. And then it's going to be happily ever after. The real thing, God came and delivered me. Ha! How wonderful. Okay, so allow yourself to dream again and to have a new dream. And I'm in a particular season of life where God is giving me dreams I've had, giving me hopes and desires and small things and big things that I've wanted to do for many years. And when several of them happened all together, like near each other, I was praying about it. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on with that? Why is it so many things happening? And the Holy Spirit whispered back, I want you to dream a new dream. And so I just invite all of you to dream a new dream. What would you like life to be like now? And not spending your time and energy upset at what it isn't, but what would you like it to be? And really sit in that place. If it were exactly what I would want, what does that feel like, smell like, look like, sound like, taste like? Who's there? Where do we go? What happens? And for those of you who might still be in a destructive relationship, and you haven't, come to that other side yet. All your fantasies might be about this other person changing. And I want to caution you against that, because we're not in control of anyone else. We're only in control of ourselves. So, if you center your fantasies around things you cannot change, you cannot affect, you end up disappointed over and over. And so often when we get disappointed like that, we just stop dreaming. Instead of not dreaming, let's see our own lives and ourselves. What would your body look like? What would your health look like? What would your fun look like? The pleasure in life. Okay. So, number one, what happened to you is not who you are unless you let it. Number two, allow yourself to dream about life again. Dream a new dream. Number three, celebrate and nourish what is good and what's good happening in your life. You are watching this right now because you're alive. You're alive, and God saw fit that you'd get this message today. Isn't that incredible? He cares about you that much that he wants you to dream again. He wants you to dream about life again. He wants you to get out of survival mode. That means that there's something other for you, and you have the opportunity to walk in it. How amazing is that? So, celebrate and nourish the good things that are going on in your life. If you're alive today, if you have clean water and indoor plumbing, that is something to be excited about. If you are gainfully employed, if you have had the honor of birthing or raising children, right? All of these things are things we take for granted. We're getting ready. It's November now. We're getting ready to go into holiday season, and people have people that they love and want to spend time with. That's a beautiful thing. That's wealth. It really is. Our relationships, our friendships, our experiences, it's wealth. More than money, more than stuff, the experiences we get to have with people really matter. And so I just encourage you to nourish those things. What are the things that nourish your heart? What are the things? So often in abusive relationships, one of the major things, emotional abuse dynamics involved, is isolation. Well, any kind of abuse dynamics where the perpetrator of the violence would isolate the victim. And so part of that in things like narcissistic abuse and covert narcissism and all that fancy words for people with malintent, not only do they isolate that person, they isolate them from things that bring them joy. So people who are creative, or they do artwork, or they write, or whatever they do, whatever they hike, anything, the things that bring them joy, those things get cut off slowly, little by little. And then, all they have in their purview is this person, this partner that's taking up all their time and energy and focus. And the same was for me. All my life, I grew up in performing arts in some kind of form or fashion, singing and choirs and school choruses and show choir and dancing and different things and playing the piano. My parents gave me piano lessons, and I didn't want to do it because I couldn't get it perfect, but I learned enough. Like, I learned the basics, and all throughout my life, there was arts involved. When I was courting my ex-husband, I was in the arts. And so after we got married, all of that just kind of came to a halt. Number one, I had some babies right away. But also just he became the priority. He became what my life was about. And all of the other expressions I had just took a back seat, and it was that way for years. And so in the aftermath, in the overcoming, in the overcoming survival, little opportunities started to pop up here and there for art expression. And I would do a little bit over here, and I do this one thing over there, and that one thing over there. I'm like, oh, isn't that nice? And it just began to be stirred up again, which was exciting and amazing. And so this past weekend, I turned 40. I had a big milestone birthday. And to celebrate, not just to celebrate me, right? Not just to be like, I survived, because again, that makes it about the destruction. It makes it about the trial. It makes it about the trauma and the drama. But I just wanted to celebrate me. This is who I am. This is who I choose to be. This is who I choose to be. Not what somebody handed to me, not the way things have always been, not what I can barely scrape by and do. Like, this is who I choose to be. This is how I choose to express. So I hosted a whole production, y'all. Like, a whole production. I'm going to share a little video with you about the production. It was amazing. And I'm so excited we got to do it. It was so cool. So I'm going to share it with you just a minute. There will be the full recording available to stream on demand. And I will tell you after how to get access to that. So hang on. I'm going to show you this amazing video that I love so much. Almost. Okay.
Of Dallas Cohen's showcase, I Choose Life. What you've been waiting for. All evening long. Introducing the one, the only. Come along.
Y'all, we had the best time. We had the absolute best time. So, let me stop share. Okay. Y'all, we had the best time. The absolute best time. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, if you would like to stream that whole live recording, you want to be first in line for that, you can pre-order access at thereboundcoach.com/store. Thereboundcoach.com. This is how you spell that. Thereboundcoach.com/store. That's how you get access to that fabulous video. And you can be inspired too. You know, that was the whole intention. We wanted to inspire people to choose life, inspire people to do better for themselves, whatever that means, whatever that looks like for you, whatever's next for you. It doesn't have to be performing arts. You don't have to join me on the stage. It's that's what's in my heart, but what is in your heart to do? So I just encourage you today. Thank you for joining me today on this special edition of the Rebound Coach Live, how to get out of survival mode. And until next time, folks, I'd love to know in the comments. Tell me what you're inspired by. Tell me what's in your heart to do. Tell me what's next for you. I want to cheer you on. So thanks again for coming and joining with me. I so appreciate you. And until next time, folks, choose life.